Now, malaria is what I'm going to focus on. Programs manager at the National Malaria Control Program, Dr. Keziah Malm, has revealed that the country has made strides in the fight against malaria in children. According to her, this has become possible due to some measures put in place by government. She made this known at the President's Malaria Initiative Vector Works Projects workshop today. A report by Philip Ankra.
According to a UNICEF fact sheet, about 3.5 million people contract malaria every year, and approximately 20,000 of these are children. 25% of the deaths of these children are below the age of 5. The annual economic burden of malaria is estimated at 1 to 2% of the gross domestic product in Ghana. Speaking at the event, Dr. Keziah Malm said the introduction of the National Insecticide Treated Net distribution strategies, among others, have helped to minimize the prevalence rate.
And in 2018, we distributed over 50 million nets in the country in 9 regions throughout from January to somewhere just before Christmas. What we've seen is a reduction in the parasite prevalence of malaria in children over the years. So if you look at 2011, when we did the test, we got a parasite prevalence rate of 27% among children under 5. In 2016, that number has come down to about 20%. It's a good reduction, and this year we are doing the survey again to determine the parasite levels. And with the efforts we've put in, with the introduction of seasonal malaria chemoprevention in Upper East region after 2016, with the number of nets that we've distributed, we are expecting another reduction in the parasite prevalence rate amongst children under 5.
Chief of Party at PMI Vector Works Project, Sylvester Segbaya, also revealed the prevalence rate in the northern region is higher than the Greater Accra region.
In Ghana, malaria transmission happens around the country throughout the year, and we have very low transmission, interestingly, in Greater Accra region. Actually, from the last study in 2016, I think that was a malaria indicator survey, or the DHS. It showed clearly that transmission in Accra of malaria parasite prevalence is just about 3.5%, whereas if you go to the northern region, it had dropped to 20%. It used to be in the neighborhood of 40%, but 20% is still very high. What that means is that out of every 100 children below the age of 5 that you check their blood sample for parasites, malaria parasites, 20 of them had parasites, whereas if you came to Greater Accra, it would just be between 3 and 4 children out of every 100. So we still have a high burden in the northern region. Western region is still showing a fairly high burden.
The project is a USAID PMI-funded initiative supporting the National Malaria Control Program and in the implementation of the National Insecticide Treated Net Distribution Strategy, which began in 2015. Philip Ankra's report for JoyNews.